Okay, so let's get to the conversations going on the other side of the Atlantic. So this week, we've got the London authorities saying no to Uber in the city. But this is from India with love. From Lagos to London, let me say good morning to Juliana Layinka, my colleague from our London studios. Good morning, Juliana.
Good morning, Bosun.
Is this all our hail riding from India with love, the Indian who loves me?
Well, I don't think Uber would see it as a love story, but, you know, as to be expected, Uber's biggest European market is under threat as all of their rivals are doing aggressive marketing strategies to try and take over their big market share and get those 40,000 drivers who could potentially be out of work because, of course, they were banned from, serving in London because, of course, their regulations that they've been flouting over the past couple of years. So Uber are still operating in London. They have 21 days, but the biggest name that seems to be dominating headlines in Britain today is Ola. Ola are an Indian-based ride-hailing service. They have been operating in Britain for the past year, mainly with cities outside of the UK. So there's outside of England, so in Cardiff and up in Scotland, but also as well in a pocket of cities such as Birmingham and Manchester. A couple of weeks ago, they did receive a license from TfL to ride in London, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They haven't been shy about telling Uber that they are going to be taking over their market. They've been doing a series of social media ads saying, you know, thousands of drivers and customers, if you want a safer alternative to Uber, then come and ride with us. So not good news for Uber. Also as well, Bolt, who are, I would say, their main rival. They're the Estonian-based company that are doing pretty well in London. They have just announced that they've got a $100 million deal coming in over the next couple of days. So not good news for Uber, particularly as obviously they've just lost their license here.
So, Juliana, is this capitalism at its most extreme, as the latest report from the British Academy puts it? Is Britain the most extreme of that famous world economic model, capitalism?
Capitalism, you know, that's what the British Academy is saying. The British Academy, they're almost like a think tank. They've been going for about 100 years. They look at British business and how it pertains to social studies and humanities. And they have conducted this report, and they do believe that Britain and big business in Britain does show the most extreme form of capitalism in the world, even more so than the US. And this is really because of ownership and the shareholders. They found in conducting this survey that a lot of power and wealth, as we all know, it really lies in the hands of a very few number of people here in the UK, that it isn't trickling down to stakeholders and the wider community. And since, climate change has become a really important part of society and how big business does conduct itself, they feel that this is going to be changing over the next couple of years, and Britain really need to keep up. We have seen some staff members starting to really care about the ethos of their company, and also as well customers and consumers. If customers and consumers are not happy with how big business is treating people, they can boycott the product. So they're really warning British business, especially in the light of this huge campaign that we're having and all the stigma that the Labour Party have had to try and overhaul business and take away some of the shares of these big companies. They're saying, you know, Britain need to be careful, and they need to look at the wider community and how billionaires spend their money. Not saying it's bad to have a lot of money, but you've got to be careful about how you treat those who are underneath you.
Yeah, I can use a lot more money. We all can use a lot more money. If you ask Aliko Dangote, he can use a lot more money. So everyone can use a little bit more money. Still talking about
Absolutely.
money, and I hardly dabbled into the business of sports, in particular football club sides, because emotions could really be very, really high. So I'm going to let's talk about the Manchester United. Now, Manchester City club being the most valuable club side at $5 billion. How's that ring to you, Juliana?
It's a lot of money, and I better read my notes because I'm sure you've got a lot of football fans. I don't want to, mix any of the details along. But a US private equity firm called Silver Lake, they're a Silicon-based big company. They have bought a stake in Manchester City. This stake is for 10% and it's for $500 million, $500 million. Manchester City, very popular, very successful, top flight English football club. They had a match last night, actually, which they won. And this year they've won 4 trophies in 2019, and we haven't even finished the year. And this is a record-breaking deal for just 10% for $500 million. That values the company, City Football Group, which is the kind of the umbrella company, at, as you said, $4.8 billion. It's very good for the team. Of course, I think the biggest team before Manchester City was Manchester United, who don't seem to be doing so well at the moment. But this is really great for British football. It's really putting Manchester City up there with some of the big basketball teams who we know make a lot of money in the States. And apparently this deal was done on Saturday. And, when it was done, this was when Manchester City beat Chelsea, who are another big football club here in the UK. So it's good news for sport. Of course, there are going to be some critics because they do believe that some of these clubs are getting too rich and are using all their money to buy all of these expensive players, and it's not fair competition. But
Juliana, I'm going to warn you that the folks on Twitter are going to be waiting for you analyzing football, who wins and who loses and how. Just stay out of those very dangerous.
It's your fault,
the football
it's
pitches.
your fault.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you so much. We just talk about the money. They play the game. We talk about the money. $5 billion. I can't let that go without talking about it. Thank you so much, Juliana. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow on Business Morning. So we're back to the opening calls on Nigeria's fixed income market for the first trading day after the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank decided to leave all rate parameters unchanged, 13.5%. That's what we're finishing the year with. We had a single haircut of 0.50% on the 26th of March. What does it all mean for the Treasury bills market and the debt market? Maybe a little bit of FX will be squeezed into this conversation by Chioma Udu, who is joining us from GT Bank. She's a fixed income dealer, and she's live to us from FMDQ Exchange Place in downtown Lagos. Chioma, it's good to see you the morning after.
Good morning.
Great. I'm sure you guys have digested all of this. So what's the playbook from your desk this morning on this rate whole decision?
Is on of the long about the longest, the 1 year. We expect that there's going to be a decline in rates because of the exclusion of local corporates from partaking at the UMO auction. So all eyes are on the NTB auction today. There's going to be a lot of interest and pressure, and then we expect moderation of rates.
Moderation of rates. How much lower do you think rates will go? I'm looking at about 6% on NTB.
Well, we don't.
I guess a bit of audio problem there with that connection from FMDQ. Chioma Udu, fixed income dealer at GT Bank. Thank you so much for coming through on the program. We apologize for that to our viewers and to her as well. Of course, she said earlier that there's a primary market auction today, being Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll have the usual treasuries maturities that will be on the marketplace. We'll put all of that together in the show for you tomorrow. But of course, don't miss the big event tomorrow, Thursday, the 28th of November. Channels Television, Channels Media Group Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. John Momoh, will be standing up for honors as an awardee of Nigeria's National Productivity Award for 2019. John Momoh will be standing alongside other big names in the Nigerian business industry, such as Tony Elumelu, the chairman of Hess Holdings and UBA PLC for the National Productivity Awards. Dr. John Momoh founded Channels Television 24 years ago and is standing up for yet another honor. There is already an OON, what they call the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now tomorrow, he's taking the National Productivity Award. I am Bosin Omofaye, and I'll see you tomorrow.